hiring a hitman to make someone disappear. More than just a Hollywood plot line, it's a crime that's more common than you might imagine. The people you're about to meet thought murder might be the best way out of their relationship problems, or at the very least, an easy payday. One would-be killer allegedly wanted his own mother dead. Here's ABC's John Donovan.
It started as a joke, and it got out of hand, and it's cost him everything.
Big sky country, land of open plains. But closed up inside this house, a family with a dark story.
Everything changed in the matter of a few hours.
It begins on the outskirts of Billings 4 years ago at this used car lot, when an FBI agent stops by to deliver to owner Dana Campbell an unthinkable message.
He asked to speak to me out in private, and he said, I hate to be the one to inform you of this, but we've been notified that there has been a contract put out on your life.
A contract out on your life? It just sounds, it sounds insane.
Not as insane as what comes next. The FBI agent says he has a pretty good idea of who took out the hit. It was her own son, Matthew.
They have enough evidence that they are safe in saying that it was my brother who had done that. He had contacted an undercover FBI agent and was making plans to have him kill my mom.
The big question, why? Nikki says she thought their family had an unbreakable bond. They enjoyed family trips together and only bickered the way that normal brothers and sisters do.
We picked on each other, we picked on my little sister a lot, but at the end of the day, we knew, that we had each other.
But Matthew's family thinks he wanted something more, his mother's money.
My two girls think now maybe if my estate had been divided into thirds after I passed away, maybe he might have even considered, killing them so he could have 100% of it all.
Made me question everything that I ever knew about him. Was I next? Was my sister next?
We'll get back to that in a minute. It turns out trying to hire someone to make a loved one disappear may be more common than you think.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Meet Julia Murfeld, who, after a few pleasantries,
So I guess we got a little business to discuss. Yeah.
Gets right down to it. In one of the most staggering conversations you may ever happen to overhear, she's planning her husband's murder.
You said, something about a gunshot, so is that how you want me to do it? You want me to shoot him?
Unless you can do it painlessly, breaking his neck, that would...
Well, I would prefer to use either a knife or a gun. That's quick and easy.
Do it that instead it's painless, less painless.
Right. Where do you want me to shoot him? Do you want an open casket, a closed casket? What do you want?
I don't want an open casket.
And the stuff she's worried about, like the mess it might make.
So you don't want it done in the house, then?
Because it would be messy in the house.
She didn't really need to worry about after all, because her husband is still alive. You see, the guy she's talking to on the right hand there, he is an undercover police officer. So why not just divorce her husband? Well, there was the insurance money to be had if he were dead, and then there were his feelings to consider.
Terrible as it sounds, it was easier than divorcing him. I didn't have to worry about the judgment of my family. I didn't have to worry about breaking his heart. Stuff like this is kind of like a clean getaway.
Not so clean after all. She is now serving a sentence, at least 5 years and 8 months. Hiring the wrong guy turns out to be a costly but not uncommon mistake.
What they do is they step to a friend or an associate or someone that they knew in their past. And what happens, in a vast majority of the time, the person they step to goes to law enforcement, whether it be the local police.
They get ratted out.
I'm positive, 5,000% Charlie.
That's what happened to Dalia DiPolita in 2009. These recorded conversations allegedly show her negotiating terms for her husband's murder. It turns out the supposed killer for hire in the driver's seat was also an undercover cop. DiPolito was called home by police one day.
Thank you for coming. I'm sorry to call you.
And given the false news that inside her husband lay dead, murdered.
Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, man. He's been killed. He's been killed, man. I'm sorry.
And then they got DiPolito into an interrogation room. She continues to speak as a shocked widow. Remember, as far as she knows, her husband is dead. But then they tell her the so-called killer is actually one of their own men.
That's an undercover police officer. We filmed everything that you did, recorded everything that you did.
I didn't do anything.
Listen to me.
I didn't do anything.
You're going to jail.
I didn't do anything, please. I didn't do anything.
And finally they tell her that her husband is still alive.
Your husband is well and alive.
Thank God.
Oh, yeah, thank God.
Can I see him?
No, he doesn't want to see you.
I don't want to see him.
He doesn't want to see you.
Dalia's husband didn't believe her when she finally got him on the phone from jail.
You know more than anybody, it's not true.
And what you said you wanted to have me killed. I heard that.
It's not true. That is not true.
How is it not true?
How can you believe that?
I heard your voice.
Like, I didn't do anything.
It doesn't matter. You can hire 5 lawyers. They're charging your ass to have your voice, your face, everything on tape.
DiPolito was sentenced to 20 years, but just last week an appeals court reversed that conviction because the jury was never asked how much they knew about her case.
I didn't do anything, and I didn't plot anything.
DiPolito was granted a new trial. Through his lawyer, Mike DiPolito says he's disappointed.
People believe in their sort of naive state that they can step to somebody else, have them commit the murder.
They think if that guy pulls the trigger, I'm clear.
Right.
Back in Montana, that's what it seems Matthew Campbell was counting on when someone talked to some friends about taking out a hit on his mother. But again, a problem.
Somebody felt that my brother was seriously contemplating doing this. That person went to the Department of Corrections and basically told on my brother, say, hey, Matthew Campbell wants to, hire somebody to kill his mother.
That's all it took. An undercover FBI agent posing as a hitman approached Matthew. Matthew is busted and sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. On the outside, Dana and her daughters struggle to understand how this could have happened. Matthew tries to explain in letters home.
This all blew up in my face and I can't handle it. I finally see where my lifestyle has gotten me, and I have been saved in the name of Jesus Christ. All of this is cold hard truth, and you don't have to believe it, but I hope you believe your son.
Over the last 4 years, letters like this kept coming, and with them, finally, a measure of forgiveness. The family now believes that Matthew never really intended to kill his mother, and they are waiting for him to come home from prison this month.
He wants to move on and put everything past him, and we do too. I think, we're gonna flourish into probably one of the best relationships I think I've ever had.
Hope springs eternal in Big Sky Country. For Nightline, I'm John Donvan, outside Billings, Montana.